There's a road that disappears beneath the moon, past the faded signs and tumbleweeds in bloom. They whisper about a place where the lost hearts go, where the neon heels keep stealing every soul. Dolly traded medals for an answered prayer. Keep stealing every soul. Dolly traded medals for unanswered prayers, trying to outrun the ghosts she always wears. School hallways echo with a stranger's name, till a distant light calls softly through the flames. Every broken dream, every scar you've known, finds a mirror in the dark when you're alone. Welcome to heaven, where the night won't end, where the broken find a place to pretend. Four young hearts chasing shadows in the glow, searching for the truth beneath the neon show. Every promise has a price you never see. Every doorway hides another mystery. When you think you finally found your home, heaven wants your soul. The girls walk fearless through the painted haze. Every color burns like fever in a blaze. Every color burns like fever in a blaze. Is it magic, is it memory, is it fate, or just another trap behind a velvet gate? Something watches from the corner of your eye, laughing while the stars forget the sky. Every answer only opens one more door, till you can't remember who you were before. Take the mask off, let the world come in. Strength isn't hiding underneath your skin. The coolest hearts still break the same. Every lost soul needs a name. The desert sings, the lights all bend. Where does the miracle, where does the nightmare end? Welcome to heaven, where the lonely dance, caught between redemption and a second chance. Neon halos flicker in the midnight air. Every secret waiting somewhere there. Four young women standing side by side, facing every fear they try to hide. When the sunrise finally cuts the night, they'll discover who they are inside. Out beyond the edge of town, where only some are ever found. If you see those giant heels aglow, turn around and let them lead you home. Heaven to heaven, where every light reveals the dark.
Aloha! It's Jason from Hawaii. Welcome to a special edition of the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. In this episode, I will be interviewing award-winning comic book creator Katie Skelly. She is here to promote her latest graphic novel, Heaven, from Fantagraphics Books. It is out in stores right now. Katie, welcome to the Comics for Fun and Profit podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. Listeners, we are recording this on Wednesday, July 15th, 2026. The reason why I want to point that out is because I want to congratulate Katie on a successful Kickstarter campaign, Bad Girls Tarot 2. Tarot is the tarot card set. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So I know that campaign is going to end tomorrow on Thursday, July 16th. And Katie, I'm sorry that, when this interview goes up, the campaign will be, of course, over, but I just wanted to congratulate you on a successful campaign.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, the deck will be out in October.
Mhm.
So even if you missed the campaign, you'll have an opportunity to pick up the deck later this year.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just off the cuff question, where would they be able to pick up the deck? Is it through your website or?
Yeah, it'll be through my shop, and you can find that at katieskellycomics.com. I'm also going to be working with a couple of distributors to try to get it into indie tarot deck shops. So yeah, hopefully you should be seeing it very soon.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to interview you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, all right. Now, Katie, I'm going to go over some of your passwords. Please feel free to correct me, or if you want to add to anything, just feel free to just jump right in. Okay. Now, now Now, some of your past works that you've done is My Pretty Vampire, Maids, and Nurse. That's some of your works. Now, if I got this correct, Fantagraphics is going to be reprinting Maids. Is it sometime this year?
It should be sometime this year. I actually don't have a I don't have like a concrete timeline on
Hmm.
that one just because we've been so heaven focused lately, but
Yeah.
should be this year. Knock on
Okay.
wood.
No, thank you. And also, too, you won the Emerging Artist Prize at the Cartoon Crossroads Columbus Festival for Operation. Um, oh, I'm going blank. Margin. Is that correct? From
That's mhm, exactly. You got
yeah,
it.
Ad House Books. That was back in 2015, and you worked with Alex DeCampi on Twisted Romance, Heartbreak Incorporated through Image Comics. Now that received the 2019 Eisner Award nomination for Best Anthology. Um, Now, correct me if I'm wrong on this because I got this from one of the YouTube podcasts that you edited Queen of the Rings, the wrestling drawings by Jaime Hernandez. That's another Fantagraphic books. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That one came out in 2021.
Okay. And then also you are a regular contributor to the Comics Journal. You co-host a podcast, Thick Lines, with Sally Madden. Now, your latest episode came out on July 6th. Now, for listeners, what is your podcast about?
It's about comics and it's really about conversations that I have with my very good friend Sally, my friend of 15 years, and we know each other through comics. Comics are kind of a shared language between us. So it's really kind of like an overview of every couple of weeks or so we take a look at a particular book or
Mhm.
a particular topic in comics and we discuss it for sometimes up to like 2 hours. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
depends, but yeah, it's just a it's just a fun show,
Hmm.
honestly. Like we have such a great time and we love talking about comics and we've been able to get really into, like Kazuo Umes and Kuraskoed and books that I don't necessarily see discussed all
Hmm.
that often.
Yeah.
So, or at least the way that I want to see them discussed. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like another outlet for my megalomania.
No, no. Now, this is an off-the-cuff question because listeners, I'm just going to jump a little bit ahead because some of the information I got about you is through the Fantagraphic YouTube podcast channel titled Katie Skelly Q&A that was dated on April 20th. Towards the end of now I'm going to tie it back to your podcast, but towards the end of that interview, you were talking about that you were at that time you're currently reading the classic storyline, Frank Miller, Bill Sienkiewicz, Electra Assassins.
Mhm.
Have you guys discussed that on the podcast?
We have. Yes.
Oh.
I think you might enjoy that episode. It's really fun. I had an older podcast, maybe about 10-ish years ago that
Mhm.
also talked about Electro Assassin. So it was revisiting this book that I really, I read it for the first time about 10 years ago.
Mhm.
I really just absorbed it, love it. I
Mhm.
look for it among other comics. I try to find something that is that exciting and I've had a hard time. So yeah, I absolutely love Electro Assassin. And that episode I want to say was early this year.
Okay, all right. I've got to track that down. Yes, thank you very much because I want to track that down. So, all right.
Mhm.
Um, Now, did I miss anything or is there anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think you've got it all.
Okay. All right. Now, before I continue on, I want to give a shout out to Tucker Stone of Fantagraphic Books. Tucker, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. Thank you for giving me an advanced copy of Heaven and for setting up this interview. Katie, do you want to add anything I said about Tucker and Fantagraphic Books?
I want to thank Tucker also. Tucker has been working really hard. And, we've been lucky to get a lot of good press for Heaven, sort of, just in the first couple weeks. So I know Tucker has been working hard and getting everything scheduled. I love working with him. I
Hmm.
love working with Fantagraphics. That has always been my dream. and I'm here, and
Mhm.
it's wonderful. So thank you to Tucker and Fantagraphics.
Right. And also, listeners, I've already mentioned, check out Katie's interview on the Fantagraphics YouTube channel. Also, too, last night, I was just trying to prepare a little bit more, was also, listeners, check out the YouTube podcast Comics Grinder that's hosted by Henry Chamberlain. Now, that episode is Katie Skelly, Heaven, and now that was dated on June 17th. Now, listeners, if you guys get a chance, please check out those fun interviews. So, all right. Katie, you already mentioned about your website. Um, where can people follow you on social media?
I'm on Instagram, and
Mhm.
my handle is just my last name 3 times. So it's at Skelly, Skelly, Skelly.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Before we start talking about heaven, you know, um, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I think you have one of the coolest stories of how you began, reading comics. Please tell the listeners how you got started reading, how you got into comics, how you fell in love with comics.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I was reading, I was reading as much as I could, and I loved comic books. And my dad's side of the family owned a newsstand in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and he would bring home old comics for me to read. Not even necessarily old comics, just whatever was out. Like if there was some movie tie-in that happened to be on the shelves, or, really and pretty much anything, like a Harvey comic. And
Hmm.
I love them. I just ate them up, and they definitely helped, I should say, teach me how to read. So yeah, they're like a big part of my literacy.
Oh, because I just think that's so cool.
Thank
It's
you.
just, yeah, because it's not like, because like most of us growing up, it's all, it was either we had to bum money off of our parents, you know,
Hmm.
but I mean, but I just think that's so cool, that your dad brought home some comics. Here, yeah, just check these out. Oh, that is so cool. Um, and then, let's see, I'm gonna jump right in. Let's talk about Heaven. Now, what is this story about?
This story is about a group of young girls, and one girl in particular, who becomes obsessed with and wants to work at a haunted, disappearing strip club.
Hmm. And then I'm gonna say and also please let our listeners know how did this story come about?
It I thought of it kind of at the tail end of the pandemic. I want to
Hmm.
say maybe like February 2021. And I was trying to make a, big decision if I was going to move to Los Angeles or not. And I had just finished my previous comic Maids
Hmm.
at like the weekend before the pandemic.
Hmm.
And so, suddenly I was at home all the time, and I
Hmm.
didn't have a comic to work on, and I didn't have any ideas yet, and I was just very frustrated. And so I just kind of started thinking, like, why not just try to think of the stupidest thing possible? And I saw a tweet that said The Weekend makes music for haunted strip clubs. And I really love The Weekend. And I was like, I think that's kind of true. And then I just kind of started thinking about that environment and what kind of stories you could tell around it. And initially, I had wanted it to be sort of a longer series. Like I thought, I'll just be releasing this in mini comics for ever, for
Hmm.
the
Yeah.
foreseeable future. But as time went on, I began writing this story, and this character Dolly just really jumped out. And I just ended up really wanting to tell her story as opposed to telling sort of a bigger ensemble cast type of
Hmm.
story. I would still love to do something like that. It wasn't the right vehicle for it.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it just I began putting issues out in 2021. I say it took 6 years to complete, but really it's something I worked on and off for those 6 years. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a consistent, I'm
Hmm.
slaving over this every single day. Um, and yeah, and that's the story. And I've been working with Fantagraphics for a while, and I have had very good luck with them, and decided to take Heaven there, and here we are.
Yes. And then what was some of your influences to create? Well, like you've already mentioned that you, excuse me, you saw like a tweet from the weekend that gave you this idea, but then like, you know, like, how did you, cut? how did you decide to make it, like almost like almost a little bit of a horror story,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, I had been working in horror for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and my idea of horror is not necessarily super hardcore, and it's
Yeah.
not necessarily you turn the page and like, oh my God, I'm scared. It's it's more of sort of like building dread. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought with this sort of environment, it would be easy to continue building that dread. But I knew there was something kind of like tender about it at its
Yes.
core. And so at the beginning of the story, you might notice like it does start to lean more into like a gritty like murder,
Mm-hmm.
territory. And then as the story kind of goes on, that sort of softens a little bit. It's still present, but it's a little bit softer in favor of Dolly's story. And so it's just a continuation of themes I had already been working with, and it felt like, I've been messing around with this for so long. It just feels like this is it. Like, let's just stick with horror for now,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see. I have the next story that I really want to do written out. It's not in like a horror vein,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm looking forward to switching gears a little bit. But for now, for Heaven, I still really enjoy working in that arena, I should
Mm-hmm.
say.
Okay. All right, you already mentioned Dolly. Let's start talking about who the characters are in the story. Like, you know, um, you talked a little bit about Dolly. Do you want to expand on who Dolly is and so forth?
Yeah, Dolly is her nickname. Her name is Dolores Sanchez, and she's a high school senior. She has recently turned 18, and
Yes.
so
Mm-hmm.
her friends who kind of reconnect with her, she's been a little bit adrift in school for the last couple of years. Her friends reconnect with her and tell her about it, and there's just something about this concept that she's immediately drawn to
Mm-hmm.
and not afraid of. And in a way, I suppose that almost kind of mirrors my own experience with the story, because it feels like this shouldn't work. this
Mm-hmm.
this feels, if you look at it kind of askew, it's like, okay, Catholic schoolgirls in the haunted strip club, like where could this possibly be going?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Dolly's story interacting with the club kind of runs parallel to my story of trying to write it
Mm-hmm.
and really get as much out of that character as I could. So she's someone who is a little bit withdrawn, but she's surprisingly resilient. I think her resilience surprises her. And that just felt like so great to write. I loved writing her.
Yes, and it's and Dolly's very good. I
Thank you.
love the character. Um, and this part I'm just curious, I'm just asking, was there a reason why to make Dolly like 18 years old, um, in her own little in her own social circle, you
Mm. Yeah, I remember my senior year of high school. It was kind of like when people turned 18, it felt like, what are you still doing here? Like, you're an
Yes,
adult,
yeah.
you know? And I remember my senior year of high school, and I turned 18. And I remember just on the very first day of class, like doing the Pledge of Allegiance and
Yeah.
being like, I don't want to be here. I don't need to be here.
Yes.
Anything that happens in this building for the
Yeah.
next like 9 months is none of my business.
Yeah.
So I think she's kind of running parallel to that. She's like, I'm technically an adult and I
Yes.
technically can go and do all of these things without
Yes.
repercussion, but it's also, it's sort of forcing someone to confront these like adult ideas of kind of being overgrown, kind of being lonely, but you're still a kid and you don't have any experience or tools to mitigate those feelings.
Yes. Um, the braces. Because that
Uh-huh.
because she still had braces and she's 18 years old, you
Hmm.
know. And I think I loved it when, she's because like you said, she's an adult. It's like, well, why am I still having braces?
Right,
You
right.
know.
And that, I have to say that little detail I borrowed from Jenna Jameson's memoir. She talked about that. She auditioned for a strip club
Oh,
and they
really?
told her, you have braces,
Yes.
our customers won't like that. And she literally did the same thing, ripped them off with pliers, went back and got a job.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty. That's where okay, okay.
It's a great memoir if you ever get a chance to read it. It's very compelling, really
Hmm.
interesting stuff.
Oh, okay. Um, the other thing, but the other thing I also love about Dolly being 18, like you said, is that it, she's an adult, but yet she's still in she's a senior year in high school.
Mhm.
And I think, it's the interest, it's, I, it's very interesting because because it kind of sort of, well, let me talk about, let me hold off and I'll get back to that because I just want to start talking a little bit about the story, what I got out of it. And please feel free to comment and anything or go, no, Jason, I think you're overthinking, you know.
Okay.
So, but the thing I love about this story is that it's a coming of age story with a little bit of from dusk to dawn vibe to it.
Oh,
Just
cool.
just a little bit. Because right, because dusk to dawn is like it's like two brothers kidnapped this family, then you're thinking, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" And then all of a sudden they wind up in this strip club. And then all
Mhm.
of a sudden what's going on? And then all of a sudden it's not what it appears to be,
Mhm.
And also too, what I also like about this story, and I'm not gonna, I do not want to talk about the ending, but it sounds like a little bit of a cautionary tale, for someone, it seems like it's a little bit of a cautionary tale. And if you
Mhm.
don't mind, if we have time after recording, I'll tell you why, but I kind of like it, you know.
Mhm.
Do you have any comment? Hmm.
I wouldn't, it's not necessarily something I seek to do when
Yeah.
I'm writing or when I'm telling a story. So I think that's a good interpretation.
Hmm.
But I from the from my point of view, it's really a story about resilience. And
Yes.
the most important thing that you have in life is your own mind and your
Hmm.
ability to make choices. That's it.
Yes.
That's all we have
Okay.
in
Yeah.
this life. And sometimes that is really terrifying and sometimes that's really exhilarating. And I think Dolly is kind of like almost a younger version of myself
Hmm.
processing that all of those things can be true. You can be sort of an adult and also be a child. You
Hmm.
can, work somewhere and like also kind of not work there because who knows when it's going to appear or reappear. So she's someone who's just like on a tightrope the whole time.
That's no, that's you're right. That, and of course, because you wrote the story.
Mhm.
And I love that tightrope. And again, you can tell me because again, this what I got out of the story is, a couple things is that, I love the first couple pages where Dolly has she's in a creative writing class, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then, one of her writing assignments is very bleak and very hopeless, you know. you know, and it's kind of little, she's kind of in a little bit of a dark place because, one, her parents is going through a divorce. She's Dolly, tells her friends that basically the reason, and also too, money is tight. That's
Mhm.
why she can't get the braces to remove right away. Um, and also too, since she turned 18, the other thing, now this is where I'm going to talk about too, where it's kind of like her friends are kind of going, "Wow, you're 18. You're that adult." And it's
Mhm.
almost like, because for me back growing up, growing up in going to high school in the 80s, when we had a friend who was 18. Now, I think this is before they changed, the drinking age, the drinking age. Our friend could buy us beer, you know.
Mhm.
So it's kind of, so it's like, yeah, he's 18. He's still in high school, but he's 18 years old. You can't deny him. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, and also too, and like you said, it's kind of a little bit of the tightrope of she's an adult, but she's a child, but yet also her home life is not good as well too, because in some sense, Um, for me, I think she's also got to be the adult in, at home because her mom is going through is, her mom's going through some rough times.
Hmm.
And you've shown a couple panels where it's like, you know, um, when the girls are trying to help Dolly, apply for the job, she goes, "Oh wait, my mom has a coat in her room." We see a picture of her room, the mom's room, and it's just basically um life. It's a mess. It's life, and it's all the color of the whole background is all yellow, and it's
Hmm.
kind of like it's lifeless and depressing. Do you want to comment on that, or am I overthinking this?
No, I think you're right on the money. I I wanted to make sure that any sort of linchpin of the family unit was also gone.
Hmm.
So, it's kind of like I I put Dolly under a lot of stress because
Yes.
I took her friends away at the beginning and then added her friends back into her life. And then I took gymnastics away from her. And then I took her parents away from her. And her house is just hell. And I
Hmm.
think, just having like a visual representation of that, to me, it was really important to include details like that essay at the beginning and like this destroyed room because
Hmm.
I think they conveyed so much more of that feeling than I could ever if I just talked about how she felt.
Hmm.
With the room, I was really hoping that like you turn the page and you see that and you're kind of shocked. It's kind of
Hmm.
like, oh wow, something is really, really wrong here. And I don't know if this child can like surmount these issues. Yeah. And again, I guess that's all kind of like, even if that's not necessarily my life, I'm just
Hmm.
kind of trying to translate a feeling of like, what does it feel like when just everything is gone? And even
Yes.
your own home is just like a source of constant turmoil and kind of horror in its own right. I would say
It,
the only horror that happens in the story is in Dolly's house.
yes. Yes, because um because it compared to because like yeah, because already we've talked about what her home life is like. We've already seen a glimpse of it. And yet when we go to um Heaven, the strip club, you know, um it's kind of there's life there, which is kind of interesting, because the owner of the club, Lover, we get a glimpse. We see, I think it's like one page where we see Lover's, office. There's a little bit of the yellow background, but yet there's a little bit of life in there because she has a plant in there that's green. Her desk, you can tell, is brown. And again, it's the like you said, it's almost like that tightrope. It's like home is not good, but the strip club looks like, hey, this looks like, there's, things going on,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to include this detail in Lover's office where she has like an OSHA poster, like the
Yes, that's
workplace hazards and stuff like that. Yeah, I wanted to show that it is this like legitimate place, even if it's completely fantastical and silly. Like there's kind of human resources,
yes, yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But like I said, um, yeah, like I said, that's the thing I just loved about the story. It's very good. And um, as much as I can, I'm not going to, I don't want to get into much details towards the end because again, it's a very good story. It is.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. This one was a huge challenge, and I think making Dolly 18 also, it was very helpful for the plot, but it also
Hmm.
kind of assuaged a lot of trepidation I was feeling about working with these characters that are so young
Hmm.
because I just thought, wow, this could really go off the rails
Hmm.
into something very lurid for sort of no reason.
No,
And
yeah.
so I knew that wasn't the direction. So yeah,
Hmm.
I took everything away from Dolly, and then I also took everything away from myself. I'm like, you can't you can't have her be a stripper. Like, I don't, that's not what it's about. It's more about showing that she is so ill-equipped
Hmm.
for this world that she's entering. That's
Yes.
really what those sort of scenes are about.
And the other thing, and again, like, and for me, um, again, because like you mentioned, I loved like how you mentioned that Dolly's walking on this tightrope.
Hmm.
Because the thing is, like, it's she's living on the right side. She's living on the right side of town. She's going to a private school. You know, she, she has a home. Her parents are not great, but at least she has parents. And the thing, what's good is that she has a strong circle of friends with her. Like you said at the beginning, the friends are, not there, but then, and I think she confronted, was it Jenny?
Hmm.
Yeah, which was very good about, hey, this is what's going on, and I like that.
Thank you.
And then also too, but on the other side, on the quote unquote, well, the strip club is in the desert, but but the strip club is quote unquote like on the seedy side of town, and it's alluring to her. Because the thing is, because I think a little bit, when they first start joking around about, yeah, you should try to, look at this, strip club, or, see, and there, it sounds like it's a little joke thing that they're trying to do. But then
Hmm.
when they take her to the interview, Dolly sees, and I love it where she's in the back seat of the car. The two stripper legs are reflecting in the mirror, and she's kind of going, she's looking at it with a little smile, like, yeah, this looks like, yeah, she's kind of going, I can make money here. I can, do something, and then, and she's getting all, and I only can imagine she's getting all these thoughts of, yeah, I can make money here. It's going to be easy. And then she gets in, and it's, nope, I'm sorry, you got to start at the bottom,
Hmm.
you know, here,
Yes, she
go,
has to
go,
start with the Igor cloak and
yeah,
shattering
yes,
lover. Yes, yes.
you know, but I just love it because it's not, because like you said, it could have gone off the railings, but it's good that didn't make Dolly a stripper, because she has that gymnastic background, and she shares some of that gymnastic information with.
Hmm.
I love that
Yeah.
part.
Thank you so much. I thought that that would be really fun. It's like, she knows how to sort of balance her equilibrium. So why not,
And I think the funny thing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the funniest thing is how and maybe how I read it was a little different, but it's funny, because I think Dolly was already working there for a while, and or for a little while, and it didn't seem like, she just says, okay, you just do this, this, and this. All right, bye.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It wasn't like, here, let me show you,
Hmm. No, and that's what I call a good coworker. That, yeah, I don't need a demo. Just let me know what I'm supposed to be doing, and she does. Yeah, I thought having scenes like that would be really cool too, because the other thing about when you're a young person and you're put in these adult situations is like you are so painfully aware that like you are the young person. Like you
Yes,
just feel like
yeah.
I'm a freak. I'm here with all these adults and they can't understand my presence and I can't understand theirs. So maybe, we can kind of meet in the middle, at least on like a technical, like a skill level.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Um, Dumb question. And sorry, I just wrote this in at the last minute because I was kind of looking through I finished up the story last night. Um, I'm gonna ask, why IHOP at the hangout place for Dolly and her friends?
I remember being a teenager and you can't drink yet, you can't really go anywhere
Yes.
yet, and you're looking for places that are open all hours and inexpensive, at least at the time. And
Hmm.
you know I just always thought it was really funny and really kind of cool when teenagers would take over like the family restaurant in town.
Uh-huh.
I find that I don't know why, I just find that to be very compelling. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're the like baddest kids in school, but we all go to Friendlies. I just think it, it kind of reflects that the absurdity again of just their situation of just end up just being a young person
Mm-hmm.
in general,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. Like a couple years ago, she might have been there, might have been at IHOP having like breakfast with her family, and now she's kind of, this night owl.
Yes.
Like she's kind of
Yeah.
vampiric in her own right, but she's still at the IHOP. Again, it's just like you can't really leave this sort of stuff behind. I
Mm-hmm.
wish that IHOP would have sponsored me, but one of these days we'll get it. They do make good coffee. I like their coffee.
Okay. All right. I'm slowly gonna start wrapping things up. Oh, well, let me. I'll just throw this question before I start going to a little bit of the technical stuff. What was the fun thing that you love working on this story?
It was tough. Like those first three chapters, I have to say were very tough. Just because I had put myself in such a state of like limits and restrictions that I was putting on myself and I was putting on my characters and just kind of getting through that. But then when I got towards the end and I've been like off and on with drawing comics for the last couple of years. I've always been drawing, but
Mm-hmm.
when I started doing those pages, I was like, oh my God, this is really singing. Like the art is looking great. This
Mm-hmm.
is fun. I have scenes that I'm looking forward to doing.
Okay.
That was really the best part
Mm-hmm.
about working on it, was just getting to those last two chapters. And I think the art really reflects that, and it
Mm-hmm.
reflects better where I am now versus when I got started in like 2021, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the greatest source of pleasure for me
Mm-hmm.
on Heaven, was getting to that ending and just being like, you know what, I can nail this.
Yes. And I'm gonna say, listeners, again, I'm not gonna spoil it. I love the ending. You know,
Thank
it was
you.
um it was a very yeah, it's I'm just gonna say I just love the ending because I don't want to say anything else. And because then it's like, ah man, yeah.
It's kind of like when Heaven becomes a character. Like that's the ending, I think.
Yes. All right. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because is it your third or fourth collaboration with Fantagraphic Books?
This is, let's see, I did My Pretty Vampire in 2017,
Mhm.
The Agency in 2018, and then that was
Forgot about that
reprinted
one.
in 2023.
Mhm.
Then I did Maids in 2020, and now Heaven in 2026. Yeah, that's right. This is the fourth one.
Okay. And then I'm gonna ask, so how did you team up with, Fantagraphics for Heaven?
I am very, very lucky in that, I work with Eric Reynolds, the
Hmm.
co-publisher, and he, after just a few years of working together, he's basically extended the invitation, like anytime you have something, let us look at it. Like, you have an open door here. And that
Yeah.
just made me feel really, really good. And, I just love working with them. I love their design sense. I love the, fellow cartoonists. I love
Hmm.
being like among the greats, even if, I feel like I'm still working my way up there. Like just
Hmm.
having, I don't know, to me, that was the dream. And it still kind of is. I was in Seattle last weekend for the hot off the press fair
Hmm.
uh, in Seattle at their bookstore. And
Nice.
they were just, it's like they're still so strong. Like this
Hmm.
brand is so strong. The
Yes.
loyalty is still so strong
Hmm.
from the readers. Like I don't know. They've just managed to create something absolutely incredible.
Yes. All right. You've already mentioned Eric Reynolds. Is there anyone else you want to give a shout out to that helped you with this book?
Definitely my husband, Jaime Hernandez helped me out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of being a little bit of a sounding board and also just being sort of, he's endlessly supportive, and he will get jealous of my pages sometimes and he'll ask like, can I please ink this? And I say no. And then he will like draw a little bear in a corner or something that
Hmm.
I see later. And, we just kind of like, I don't know, we keep each other going in our funny little way. So yeah, I want to, big thank you to him.
Hmm.
And, Tucker. I
Hmm.
want to say a special thank you to Jack Cohen, who was the former publicist of Fantagraphics, and she's
Yes.
really the reason I'm there at all.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
so, yeah, yeah, I've just been so lucky. I've had many, many supporters,
Hmm.
and I've been able to get to this point, and it's just, I don't know, it's incredible. I'm so lucky.
I'm throwing this out there and correct me if I'm wrong because I think I saw it in your, I think I saw it in the in the bio at the end of the book. Two cats. You want to give any shout outs to them?
Well, my one cat Juniper did pass away
That's right.
in between the
I'm
publishing and the finishing and the publishing. Thank you. She was great. She was 13 or 14. She had a great long life, but funnily enough, we actually do have another cat now. So the equilibrium is balanced. We have a little black cat now, and she's very shy. We're kind of introducing her to our other cat and getting that all sorted. We don't have a name for her yet, but she's very cute. She's a little black cat.
Oh, that's cute. All right. Fun questions. Okay. Um, what is your comic book convention or comic festival schedule for, the rest of 2026?
I'm actually going to be a special guest at San Diego Comic-Con, which feels crazy and very funny because they made, their social media team made like a video edit, like announcing I was going to be there, and it looks like a WWE intro. It's so awesome. I'm so grateful they did that. I'm going to have that for the rest of time. But yeah, I'll be at San Diego. I will be
Nice.
there on that Thursday and Friday, the
Hmm.
23rd and the 24th.
Hmm.
And then I kind of get to take a little break. I don't have anything until the end of August, but I'll be at Partners and Son in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
And then a little bit later in the year, in October, I will be at an Ann Arbor, a festival in Ann Arbor,
Hmm.
and then I will also be going to Pittsburgh after that. So I'm just kind of hitting some sort of random spots, but really just going for maximizing anytime I have to travel. I'm like, let me see if I can get out here and get out here, and
Yes.
maybe do it on someone else's dime. We'll see. But
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, that's it. I would say San Diego is like the big one for sure.
Okay. Now, in your Fantagraphics interview with Eric, you mentioned that you're a big fan of Frank Miller's Sin City. Have you ever met him?
No, he doesn't need to know that I exist.
No.
There's just some people that I'm like, you know what? You're like, there's just some people that I just hold a lot of reverence for. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're fine. Just keep living. Don't get involved in my bullshit.
No. All right. Then I'm just throwing this out there too, because since we talked about Elektra Assassin, Bill Skevich, have you met him?
Have not met him either. He's another one. I'm just like, just keep living your life. Like
Okay.
them, Bruce Tim, Sam Keith, rest in peace. I'm like,
Yeah.
just don't let me bother you. That's kind of how I feel.
Hmm. All right. Two more questions. Have you and your family been to Hawaii?
Never been to Hawaii. Would love to go to Hawaii.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Any closing words to our listeners?
I would just like to say a really big thank you. I did not know how this book was going to be received. Again, it was a tricky subject, and I was kind of on a tightrope as well. And that the feedback has been so positive,
Hmm.
and people are really responding well to the book. And they're also picking up a lot of the notes that I put down. Like that feels really insane and really wonderful. So just thank you so much to the people that are still out here, supporting indie comics, reading indie comics,
Hmm.
talking about them. Like I'm so grateful to still be a part of this ecosystem, and I can't wait to get my next comic out there.
Okay. All right, Katie, mahalo. Thank you in Hawaiian for giving me an opportunity to interview you. Thank you very much. Um,
Absolutely.
I wish you all the success with heaven. Um, and Katie, I want to say this, and I'm being very serious and sincere. Thank you very much for making comics. You,
Oh,
you know.
thank you so much. Thank you. Mahalo.
Oh, thank you. Um, Again, I want to give a big mahalo to Tucker Stone, for asking us at Comics for Fun and Profit to interview Katie. Again, Tucker, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. Um, if you are a new comic book fan or a lifelong comic book fan who loves, basically a coming of age story with a little bit of horror in it, please check out Heaven. This is a great story. It's a great story about Dolly, who and it's just basically I love it. It's great because she's just trying to find out she's trying to find out who she really is in this world. And you know, like I said, Katie, I love this story. It's a very good story. It is. So
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it.
I want to thank Drew, the host of Comics for Fun and Profit, for putting this episode together. Drew, thank you very much for all your hard work behind the scenes. And if you are a new listener, please check out new episodes of Comics for Fun and Profit that comes out every Saturday. And I want to thank you, the listener. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, guys, aloha.
Through the sand, the air feels like water, soft in my hair.